Hello and welcome to the Glow Up Fabulous Conversations with Innovative Minds. Today I'm talking with Moody Mattan of Brand XR.
Thanks for having me.
So, Brand XR is actually a little bit new to me. We haven't yet, so I'm really glad to meet you today. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do at Brand XR and describe the core problem space that you're working on?
Sure. So, Brand XR is a no code augmented reality platform and an award winning XR studio. We kind of have two pieces to the business. We have our no code augmented reality platform, which is similar to like a Squarespace or a Wix in that it's a WYSIWYG builder. Instead of building a website, you're building a full augmented reality experience without having to write a single line of code. So that's the Brand XR Studio. It's built for people like myself who don't know how to code. Maybe you're a business person, a marketing person, a teacher, or an artist, and you have all of these creative ideas about how you could use augmented reality, but maybe you don't have access to a deep technical team or lots of engineers or the money that you need to pay for those engineers. That's why we developed the Brand XR Studio. And then we also have a professional services team that can build a wide variety of mostly augmented reality. 90, 80, 90% of our projects are augmented reality. And then we'll kind of cherry pick some VR projects here and there. The custom augmented reality projects can be anything from Facebook and Instagram filters. We're partners with all of the major social AR platforms like Meta and Snapchat and TikTok. We do a lot of branded filters on those platforms. One of the things we're really well known for is our augmented reality murals. These combine real murals that are painted on the sides of buildings with augmented reality technology. That's one of the products, augmented reality murals, that has really caught fire. We've done hundreds of these all over the world.
I love this idea of an augmented reality mural. One, I think it's a really, number one, I'm always about paying creatives, and you have to have a painted mural and you have to have an augmented experience. So, potentially multiple creatives or some really talented
Yeah,
multi-dimensional creatives that you get to work with. Could you, maybe for those who haven't seen an augmented reality mural or have a hard time imagining who might want one. Is there a mural project that you could give us a little bit more details about, dive into a little bit about the customer and how the mural solved some of the goals that they were working on?
sure, sure. So we're working on a project right now with Verizon where we're doing augmented reality murals on Verizon storefronts. So the murals will be localized. So we're working on one now in Midtown Miami, which is a beach scene. And then we're working on another in Seattle that's more of like a hiking type scene. It's super cool project because we get to work with local muralists and graffiti artists in each city. So they will paint like the physical mural on the storefront or inside of the Verizon store, and then there'll be signage with the QR code that someone can walk up to, scan the QR code, and then that will link them to the AR experience. And then all they need to do is scan the mural the same way they scan the QR code. Nowadays, the computer vision is so good that we can use any artwork or any mural as the QR code, as the image tracker, and then we'll bring the mural to life. Some of the elements in the mural will bring to life in like 3D models and 3D animations and actual interactions. So you can really start to play with the mural as if it were a video game.
I'm taking a pause because I'm a little overwhelmed by the number of things that I heard that go into this. So we've got like placemaking and local storytelling, right? This connection between the local store, the national retailer, and that local community. You've got artists and like it sounds like maybe even the store team members contributing to this
Mhm.
visioning, and then there's this whole level of interactivity and play that you very specifically called out
Exactly.
that starts to, when I think about going to a Verizon store, the idea of play or exploration or even doing more than paying my bill, it starts to expand how I could imagine that relationship, that visit to that location. Um,
Yeah, and the murals also highlight some of the ways that Verizon is powering all these experiences. So,
yeah.
when you're climbing the mountains, up in Seattle and you want to send that text or you want to send that picture, Verizon is the one who's powering that service when you're up on top of a mountain. Nobody else gets service. So that is kind of how we're incorporating the powered by Verizon, branding into
Mhm.
these mural experiences. There's people in each one of these murals, and they're utilizing different technologies. Sometimes it's Apple Watch, sometimes it's their cell phone, but it's all being powered by Verizon. So that's a core message.
To have storytelling, sort of work on so many different layers, it seems like there's a bit of a business story as well
Yep.
as, this community story and the Verizon network. What sort of team and brand partnerships goes into building such a robust multi-channel, multi-city kind of marketing activation? It sounds like, yeah.
It's very collaborative. So we get a chance to work with the muralists and the graffiti artists. They're pros at putting paint on the wall and coming up with the designs. And so we get to work with them almost from the get go to design the mural, to almost hint at the mural coming to life in augmented reality when you first view it. And so we get to collaborate with the muralists there, and then we get to work with Verizon's marketing team, the corporate marketing team, and then the local partners that are there in the stores to really get a sense for what the local market's like. For example, in the Midtown Miami, we have a speech bubble, and it's Spanish speaking because it's a largely Spanish speaking population. So we have some fun sayings that pop out in that speech bubble in Spanish. So that it's a really, really collaborative process. We'll kind of jam on a creative brief. That's like the first deliverable that we'll put together with all of these different partners. And then from there, we'll put together a prototype. That'll take about 2 to 3 weeks to put together a prototype. That is one of my favorite parts of the experience because a lot of times you deal with software development and you don't get to touch and feel anything until 6 months later or a year later. And the customer can never really touch and feel and get a good sense for what you're building. But with these AR projects, it's really within weeks, 2, 3 weeks, we'll have a playable prototype that they can go and scan the actual mural with and get a real sense for how this works. And then we tweak and we polish and we fine tune from there. But the prototype is really that magic moment where you get really, really good feedback from the client because it's on their actual mural.
So, one of the favorite questions that I have to ask is around how do you learn from and incorporate customer feedback, into these innovative ideas? And what I'm hearing from you is that getting all of those stakeholders together early in the brief and then having really pushing back on that expectation that innovation takes a long time and trying to have a prototype, a working sample, something that you can see, believe, and understand, in your own terms on your own device seems to be like a really important tool that you're using in this process, to continue that alignment, to push what's forward. And it's something that I would have to say is probably a best practice that I've seen in a lot of innovation shops. Anybody that does professional services, that fast prototype, it feels like it's your opportunity, to get somebody's attention, to get them 100% amazing.
Right.
So, a career in technology and art and business strategy, I'm impressed with this career that with this path that you've built in art and in business and technology. I'm curious, can you describe a little bit of the journey that brought you here?
Yeah, definitely. So, how I got into augmented reality and virtual reality was actually I through working in a venture capital firm. So I got my MBA in 2013 from Babson, and I decided to move out west to Silicon Valley, the mecca of tech. That's where all the action was going on. And I ended up networking myself into a job, a venture capital job, where I was an associate on a small team, and we were doing seed and Series A investments. One of the very first companies I looked at was a company called Meta out of Y Combinator. Not Facebook Meta now, totally different Meta. They produced an augmented reality headset. And I ended up taking a look at them right out of Y Combinator, tried on the headset, and was really completely blown away by what I saw. As a business guy, my mind was kind of exploding with all of these different possibilities that AR and VR could have on the business world. So I ended up leading that investment for the firm, really fell in love with the AR VR industry, and that was in 2013. So it's like now almost 10 years later, we've come a long way. After that, I told myself I should really go after this AR VR industry. I thought it was going to be the next big thing. I started a company that produced Google Cardboard. It was like one of the very first versions of a VR headset. The company I started was kind of a startup inside of a larger manufacturing company. That manufacturing company was making book binding machines. So nobody was printing anymore. So nobody was really binding anymore. So that business was kind of on the decline, and they were looking for their second act, looking for a new way to turn around the business. And I came in fresh off of this VR headset deal, and I told everyone in this manufacturing company he was making these book binding machines, and it's almost like a printer and ink cartridge strategy. And hey, let's make these VR headsets. Everyone looked at me like I was totally out of my mind. and but I ended up presenting the business case to them and really showed them this is where I think this is going. The founder of that company, Kevin, he was an amazing inventor. And so they kind of had the Google Cardboard open sourced. And so he was able to quickly put together a better version of that. And so we called it Powis. Powis Cardboard was the original name. But I got us a partnership with Google Cardboard. And like when they were just starting, there was like 3 or 4 people on the Google Cardboard team, they're just getting into this. And for a while there, we were like one of the only partners, that was selling alongside the Google Cardboard. So they had us listed on their partner website. And I had built that website in like a month. And we ended up selling millions of dollars, worth of these VR headsets. So I kind of felt firsthand the power of these no code tools and was like, wow, like that's when I came up with the concept for Brand XR and was like, hey, we need, there needs to be something like a Shopify for AR and VR, because all these people are wanting the headsets, and people were even asking me, hey, can you help create the content? So that's when I got the initial idea for Brand XR. I actually pitched it to the founders of that company, and they decided not to invest because it was totally outside of their wheelhouse. And that's when I decided to move back to Detroit. I met my business partner, Kanal Patel. He was actually a customer. He wanted some VR headsets for a project he was working on down in Orlando. And he was like, you need to come down to Orlando and check out the game development scene we have going on down in Orlando. And so I took him up on that offer, and I was really amazed by what was going on down there in Orlando with, you have the Disneys and the Universals, but you also have a huge simulation and defense industry down there. So NASA's down there, Northrop Grumman. It was really a hotbed for this talent. And so I decided to move back to Detroit and then start Brand XR. So we started Brand XR with an office in Detroit and then an office in Orlando. And that's how we got started.
Amazing. I love how that like aha moment of putting on those first AR glasses sent you on this rocket ship of a journey. I have to thank you. My start in the XR space, came around that 2015, 2016 boom where the
Okay.
first millions of VR headsets were being shipped, and cardboard viewers, that were some of the most large scale sales numbers that you were seeing out there was cardboard,
Yeah.
cardboard, cardboard. I actually was just listening to the Get 'em to the Metaverse podcast just yesterday, and they were talking about the Samsung Gear era of VR, right?
Mm.
It's that same
Mhm.
sort of era of lots of people trying to make this technology so easy. I love that your excitement about the viewer and the hardware space actually pushed you into making creator tools. I always say that no matter where you are in the innovation industry, if you're making hardware, if you're making tools, everybody needs creators and content. Everybody needs
Oh, yeah.
designers and UXers and artists to make those softwares, those technologies, the hardwares usable and fun to be in. How cool that you've sort of worked up and down that whole value chain within the space. Just about to ask a follow up question. I think you nailed it, right? Which is with that very round and pretty unique perspective on what it takes to take an idea to market, what it takes to build a successful company over time. What have you learned? It seems like hardware is hard. Are there other ways that rounded background and experience benefits you as a business leader and a product strategist?
Yeah. I think the most important thing now is really knowing your customer and knowing who is your ideal customer, who are you serving, and really getting close to them, understanding their problems, understanding their needs, because that is you either have a solid market for your product that you can sell into, or you're kind of a solution that's looking for a problem sort of thing. And so we had even faced a little bit of that with our no code builder in the early days. The big brands that wanted the AR experiences, they were willing to pay for the professional services. And they didn't have anyone in house who even had the time to try out this new platform and play around with it. So they were just like, we trust you guys. You're the experts. We'll pay for the professional services. And that's when we started baking some professional services into our tiers, into our BrainXR Studio tiers, because we saw everyone needed some handholding. Everyone needed a 3D asset made or an animation made. So we started baking that into our pricing. And I think now, as the market has evolved, it's become easier now to create 3D models. For example, there's AI tools now where you can whip up a 3D model in seconds. That AI piece wasn't there, when we first started, right? You had to, if you wanted a 3D model of your product or a character, you had to hire an artist, and it would take them 50 to 100 man hours to painstakingly hand sculpt, and that's not including revisions and everything. And so that, I think, the AI has made it easier for people to jump in and start creating. It might not be like their perfect product or whatever, but if they're just playing around with AR and just prototyping, it doesn't need to be that. So yeah, I think knowing your ideal customer, that's super important. And then leveraging the trends, like I had mentioned AI. I think leveraging these trends, but knowing when not to go all in and invest in some of these. We tried playing around at BrandXR and creating our own 3D model generator. It's very expensive. These GPU hours, they cost a lot of money. This can get very, very expensive. So yeah, I think knowing your ideal customer profile, what they want, what they need. In the case of the Google Cardboard, there was massive demand for this product, but nobody was making them. Google like open sourced it and was like, "Here, this is how you can buy cardboard from here, buy lenses from there, buy the," and like nobody wanted to put it all together. Everyone was just like, "Do it for me. I'll pay you the extra whatever, $20 for you just to make it for me." And so that in that case, the demand was there. Google had built up massive demand for this cardboard. But on the BrandXR Studio side, when it came to creating the content, like when we were first coming out with the product, 2018, 2019, it was like not too many people wanting to create augmented reality on their own. And so, we did a few years of like trying to really find that product market fit on the no code platform.
I so appreciate that awareness, your customers' pains and your customers' needs, right? Like really being able to understand the market, the customers, where the space was. I love this idea that you shared where you could identify that there was demand and you could identify that there was demand for more than what you were planning to share because people are like, this is too new, just do it for me. And I think when you're in a new technology, when you're so excited about finding market fit, there's this idea that you give the tools and people will go create whatever they want or can imagine. But sometimes when they are so new into that idea or the technology is so vast and full of possibilities, knowing what to make, knowing why to make it, knowing what to look out for can be such a moment of overwhelm that the people will pay. Time is money, and enterprise time is a lot of money. And being able to find a niche where there is both a need and a market is amazing advice, and what a great example of sort of following the right amount of support that those customers need.
Yeah. Over the years, we've done a lot of augmented reality experiences in
Yeah.
like every industry you can imagine, from working with NASA and the Kennedy Space Center to working with cannabis dispensaries here in Michigan. So, like, all across the gamut and all shapes and sizes. That was part of our big problem in the beginning, was like we could do augmented reality for everything. We can do augmented reality for manufacturing. We're here in Michigan. We can do augmented reality for education. We can do it for art. We can do it for training. All these different use cases. And then what I've learned over the years is you can't be everything to everyone. You need to find your niche and focus on that. Over the years, we became known for these augmented reality murals. My hometown is Detroit. Detroit is known as a mural city. The city is actually trying to rebrand it, Detroit Mural City. And so we even put on our own augmented reality mural festival here in Detroit. One year we had 10 AR murals. The next year we had 15. And then we kept building these up. To my knowledge, I think it's the only augmented reality mural festival that exists. We've done it a few years. It's called the Electrify Detroit Reality Mural Festival. And now what that has evolved into is leveling up the murals. So now we're taking these to all of out of home advertising. So think billboards, not driving billboards. We don't want anyone using augmented reality when they're driving and crashing. About half of the billboards that you see are like walking billboards in dense city centers, high visibility, high foot traffic areas. You can think of like the big cities, New York, Chicago, LA. They have a lot of these. And so now we're kind of taking the AR mural experience and bringing it to the billboards. And now what we're finding is it helps in two main areas. Talking about finding that customer need and what they want. It helps improve the creative. These are just static billboards. They've been the same static billboards for hundreds of years. So now we can make these billboards come to life in augmented reality. They can jump off of the canvas out at people, and you can actually play the billboard as if it was a video game. So we're seeing engagement in some of these experiences like over 3 minutes long. Uh, in a day and age where you can't wait to skip that YouTube ad, we're seeing some pretty good metrics and engagement in these. And with the billboards, like it improves the creative, and these billboards are also notoriously hard to measure. The brands, how many people saw my billboard? I had this ad up for a month. I paid all this money. How many people saw it and what are they doing? And with augmented reality, we can measure all of these usage metrics, like how many people clicked the experience, how many people took photos and videos, how long they're inside of it, how long they're engaged for. And if we launch on some of the social platforms, we can get good demographic data, age, sex, location, languages, what are their interests. The brands that traditionally invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in out of home and they see very little in terms of measurement, we can provide very detailed measurement and analytics with this.
This is so cool.
Finding a good fit.
There's so this is Electrify.
Electrify is our augmented reality murals app.
Got it.
And so, like, all of the murals in Detroit are through that Electrify app. But we can launch the AR murals
Mm,
in a number of different ways. It could be on web AR, it could be on a social AR platform,
yeah.
or it could be a separate app like Electrify.
Amazing. There's two things that I love here that I think are really fun to call out. So the first thing, by like using augmented reality to make static murals and billboards engaging and digitized, you're effectively turning any section of wall into a potentially like Times Square level, like digital,
Mhm.
wow experience. You can turn any billboard or wall into a Times Square attraction almost.
Right.
And then you're sort of democratizing who has access. If you have an exterior wall to your building, if you have windows,
Yeah.
your advertising landscape kind of grows in a very interesting way. And because there is this physical to digital connection, you're able to give analytics in a whole new way. And it seems like those analytics are pointing to people want to be engaged, they want to explore, they want to be involved in the content rather than, you said, having content dumped on them. And so,
Right.
one, that you're giving brands insights, and two, instead of 3 seconds of scroll time on LinkedIn, you gave somebody 3 minutes of engagement with Verizon. The metric that I've been really excited to see is how world interaction with brand assets in Fortnite creative mode or in Roblox branded experiences often has 20 to 40 minutes worth of gameplay, because you're in
Oh.
world, you're playing games, you're with
Mhm.
friends. And to see, creeping up to that level of interactive engagement on something that's arguably, it's out of home, you're on a mobile device. So the challenges, the potential distractors, the amount of time you have is way smaller potentially in that out of home experience. But you're still, instead of counting seconds, of scroll on somebody's mobile time, you're counting minutes of engagement and playtime. Ideally, any brand, anybody who's trying to understand both who their community is, how do they show up in the world, would be really excited for this kind of connection between digital and physical as a way to not only be more creative,
Yeah.
but to also to learn.
Yeah, and that's what we found is really the magic is this mix of physical and digital. We've done a plenty of augmented reality experience where it's 100% digital. The mural on its own is a beautiful mural, like can hold its own by itself, but then the augmented reality experience really levels it up and adds a new layer of immersiveness, interactivity, and the user generated content. So that's another thing that the brands love is like, seeing the people record their experience, take a photo, take videos. Oftentimes we'll have like a Instagrammable moment that will like fit in to the mural. So it's like a good photo op for the people. So the people can like, become part of the brand. So yeah.
Soundbite. Love it. So the name of the show is the glow up, and right, a glow up is often a leveling up or a notable improvement in something's looks or success. I'm curious, what goals are you working on in the next 6 months that you're looking to glow up?
Yeah, for us, we're looking to partner with out of home advertising companies. That's really our big goal. So, any out of home advertising that wants to make their billboards more interactive, more immersive, and have that really strong digital measurement piece, we would love to talk to. There's big out of home advertising companies in the US like Clear Channel, Outdoor, Lamar, Outfront. These are some of the big ones. So, outdoor advertising agencies that are selling billboards on a daily basis, and they can add augmented reality as an upsell opportunity. It's not a good fit for every single billboard, like it's not a good fit for the driving billboards, but for the ones that are in major city centers, for the big brands that want to be innovative and have immersive interactive experiences, I think that this is a great fit for them. So we have a small sales team at Brand XR, so we're looking to partner with some of those out of home advertising agencies to help sell AR billboards into their clients.
Amazing. So thank you for that. I love to ask founders future state dream questions because it's always neat to see how vision connects to innovation. If money were no issue, if you could control the future, what would success look like? How do you know that you've made it if failure wasn't an option?
It's a tough question. I think when we can't handle the demand anymore, that's when we know things are really cooking. Our phone is ringing off the hook, our inbox is overflowing with new customers every morning. That's when we'll know we've really hit it. But yeah, I think we're looking to really just niche down to these AR murals and AR billboards. We've done a lot of different AR experiences, but now we're really trying to focus all of our sales and marketing around this specific use case. It also helps when brands know the use case. When we're first starting, they're like, should we use it for sales? Should we use it for marketing? Should we use it for training? But the AR mural, you know exactly what you want. You're probably already looking into a mural or a billboard. So this is like an add-on to that.
I love this idea. I'm going to jump in on you because you're kind of noodling around this idea where you've seen the value of these AR murals, and they are both very specific and very accomplished in some really desirable areas. And so I love this idea that the category of AR out of home or AR
Mm,
billboards have become so commonplace, right? That
yeah,
everybody knows them and everybody is coming to you to fulfill that vision. That perfect mix of diving deep into a category, a specialty, and then blowing it up that everybody can get the value of it. It's amazing.
yeah.
So go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say we love seeing when other folks are creating augmented reality murals and things like this. We love seeing that. It's an awesome way to mix different types of creatives.
Mhm.
We've never met a muralist that doesn't want us to do AR to their work. Everyone is like, "Oh my god, this is crazy! Like, you're gonna do this." And a lot of times, the artists, like the muralists, they're not footing the bill. It's like a big brand that is paying them to do their mural and paying to bring their art to life in augmented reality, but for the brand. So it kind of levels up the muralist as an artist. So yeah, I think like continuing to see more. I love the idea of building a new category and that has never really existed, and we're kind of like the category leader. So yeah, I think more people doing AR murals, AR billboards, like we'd love to see it.
Amazing. So, if people want to learn more, if they want to make their own billboard, if they want to pick up these skills themselves, how can people learn more? Moody, you've shared a lot of great inspiration, ideas, and resources. How can people learn more? And Who are you looking to connect with? The next phase of Brand XR.
Yeah, I would say check out our website. Our website's brandxr.io. We have a bunch of information on there on the augmented reality murals and billboards and our no code AR platform. So if you're a creator, you're an artist, you're a marketer, you're someone who wants to build an augmented reality but doesn't want to have like this huge hurdle of learning how to code, check out the Brand XR Studio. There's a free 2-week trial on our website, so you can check it out for free. And really, most users are building their first AR experience within 10 minutes of using the platform. So it's pretty quick. We want people to really build their first augmented reality experience using Brand XR. Like, that's a nice aha moment that we would love people to experience with us. And I would say I also post a lot on LinkedIn. So you can follow me on LinkedIn and our YouTube channel. We are posting more and more augmented reality videos too. So I'd say check out our YouTube channel as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Moody. I may have to go check out that free demo. It has been such a pleasure to learn about passion for solving problems and this vision that you had for opportunities within the VR and AR space has led you through decades of innovation in the spatial computing space. So cool to hear about the exciting work that you're doing with this potentially new category of AR murals and how that's engaging not only creatives and digital creatives, but also giving brands some really powerful tools for trying these new technologies. Moody Mattan of Brand XR, such a pleasure to have you here on the Glow Up today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.